Hey, this is Z with Small Scale Development, where I'm going to show you projects we have going on, take you step by step so you can learn to do the process for yourself. Today, I'm going to be looking at a potential project where we may work on with a client, and they are interested in building a small duplex. It's 2 bedrooms per side, and it's a lot they have already, and it is, I think it's about 58 feet wide by, let's see, by 85 feet deep. And directly next to it is a duplex and then a house next to it. Let's see, what do you need to know? Well, it is zoned neighborhood conservation. So that is zoning that kind of looks for small lots at sort of urban area, and you can have 4,000 square feet. I think lots minimum size 4,000 square feet. So sort of dense, roughly 10 units per acre, and right now that allows certain things. So I'm going to first take a look at. So I said it's zoning here, and I want to go look at what the zoning actually means. So I'm going to go over here to the zoning category. That's the city zone. So neighborhood conservation. What does it allow? It allows single family dwellings and accessory dwellings, or ADUs, granny flats. And so conditional use is a 2-family dwelling or 3-4 family dwelling, some other things. So in order to do a duplex, you would need a conditional use permit. So to get a conditional use permit, you would need to go in front of the planning commission, send out notices to the neighbors, and go before a board of 9, roughly, for the planning commission. And you'd submit it to the city, and the staff would recommend for approval or denial, and then the planning commission would vote. The residents would have an opportunity to discuss this. Now, when doing conditional use permit, often you have to have your specific plans designated. So you have to have your plans drawn up, all the sides, so people can see what they're voting on. They can say, well, we like it, but you have to have parking over there. Or we want screening here because the neighbors may see it, or we want trash bans here, different things like that. So there's a lot of constraints that the planning commission could say. So that's one option, and that's not to say that they will, but that's just one thing, and particularly often more with you see it with commercial uses. So when you have a commercial conditional use permit, a business wants to operate, then there's a lot of issues with trash or noise or things like that, where operating hours may be enforced, things like that, and for residential larger scale buildings, then you may have that too. And so the planning commission is can vote for or against, but also impose conditions on that. Alternatively, what you could do is try to rezone it, and rezoning it is typically you don't have the specific plans provided. So we could look at a zoning category that may be similar but actually allows a 2-family dwelling or 3 or 4-family dwelling by right. In this case, it really could only feasibly fit 2 units based on parking. So rezoning it to a different zoning that might allow that. However, so you don't have to have all of your ducks in a row in terms of all the plans, which could be expensive if you do your plans and then you don't get approval. Alternatively, you can go to the rezoning route, which then allows you to not have all your plans paid for, but you just say, well, this is what I would like to do, and then you go in front of the planning commission. The city staff recommends in favor or denial. Planning commission looks it over. Then they recommend sending it to the city council for approval or recommend denying it. And if they, if they deny it, then, well, you can appeal to the city council, and the city council may choose to hear it or not. If they recommend sending it to the city council for approval, then it goes to the city council. So then that's a whole nother step, and then it goes again in front of the council and the public. So now that may add on extra time at the end, because the city council may look at it. They may look it over for several sessions and then determine yes or no. So it may take a little more time going through that process, but you may not have to spend as much time on the plans if you aren't going to get approved. Now, it's a good idea to, when you have to go before the planning commission or the city council, to talk it over with some of the members of the planning commission, get a sense of it's something that they would approve or not. They're not going to tell you yes or no, presumably, but they can say, well, that looks like something that the planning commission would be in favor of, and then similarly going to the city council members, particularly in your ward or district, and talking with them, saying what you want to do, and see if they're going to support your plan or not. So let's say we get favorable approval from the city, whether it's the planning commission or the council. We need to know, okay, well, what can we do here? So it's zoned this way. We've got this lot here, which we can take a look on the GIS, city GIS, and figure out what the measurements are. And we also can look at the land records, and we see, okay, well, there's utility easements on the outside. So presumably when this lot was split, they required the owner to put in these easements here, utility easements. And we can see that from the land records. So you can see if there's anything else there. These are, I think, look like 5 feet, 5 feet easements. The building setbacks, if we go back to the zoning, it says that for the neighborhood conservation, there's 5 foot setbacks, and so that doesn't really actually, matter all that much. One thing that does matter for us is you can have roof overhangs in the setbacks, as long as they're fire rated, but you can't build in those. But with just setbacks, if a utility easement, you are not actually allowed to put roof overhangs into the side setback, into the utility easements. Excuse me. So what we can also do, I think, let's just see if we've got that here. Flood zone. Some of the different things we might want to look at. There's utilities. So we've got sewer, we've got water, we've got I guess don't see it up here. I'm gonna not go through it now, but we can look at flood zone. That's something else that's important I would look at, and this is not in the flood zone here, so that's important. Now we can go take a look at the survey itself, and again we can see, okay, we've got 54 feet wide here. It's 84 feet to the front, let's say. We've got 6 feet taken off from the master street plan right away. So when it has the option for the city to widen the street, maybe put in green space or sidewalks along here, so they have that option. And then we've got a 10-foot utility easement that the like I spoke of before, for the city to, that you can put in underground electric. Probably the utility company or the electric company probably wanted to put those in, so you could do underground wires. And then here you've got your building. In this case, we see it says 25-foot BTZ. That's a build to zone. So you have setbacks on the side, but you also have this build to zone, which says you need to put the building up to the front of the property. So you want to move this in between here and here. And so probably what we're going to need to do is put a driveway down the side, push this building over as far over as it can go, pull it up to the front, have a driveway down the back, and then have parking in the back. And so that's probably what we may need to do. This is going to be 2 bedrooms per side, which means you need 4 parking spaces. You may be able to get a variance and do less if you want to, but typically it'd be two parking space or parking space per bedroom, for example. And so if you have four parking spaces back here, so they already have the survey, so that's nice. But sometimes you just have to start with the city's GIS, get all those measurements, and take a look from there. So with that, I'll leave it there and let you know on progress if we move any further. But hopefully that's helpful for you if you're looking at developing, getting started. Okay, well, that's it for today. Thanks.